hear me okay? Too loud? So thank you very much. Great to be in Lithuania. It's my first time here. I'm not sure if you can tell from my accent. I'm not English, I'm Australian. I've been living in London for 5 years and now recently living in Switzerland for 3 years. So depending on how many beers I have, my Australian accent gets stronger. So see me later on, it'll be very Australian. So what I'm here to do today is really to talk to you about something that's very much fundamental to advertising, and that's creativity. And I'm going to focus on sort of how online advertising has evolved over the last 16 years, and tell you what I see as the future. Before I do that, though, I get asked all the time, what is Yahoo? We've been around. We had our 16th birthday this year, which pretty much makes us the grand. Some people say the grandfather. I prefer to say the godfather of the online world. And over the 16 years, things have drastically changed. And as a company, we also continue to change as well. So this is very much how we position ourselves in the market. We are very much a content player. We obviously do have a lot of communication products like Messenger and Mail, but huge amounts of our audience come to Yahoo to consume content. We also do have some social products. Social is not just Facebook, social is many different things. And some of the products like Yahoo Answers and Flickr have been products we've had for many, many years, all designed to bring people together to share information, ask questions, and share memories. Just to give you a little bit of understanding of the scale that Yahoo has, this particular picture was taken the night, I keep saying Obama died, but it's not, it's Osama died. All right. We had 45,000 requests every 45 seconds for this particular photo. So it was hugely distributed across Yahoo and across Flickr. The Japanese tsunami became one of the biggest, obviously a terrible disaster. People came to Yahoo to find out what was going on. This particular story generated 900 million page views in 3 days, which shows you the volume of people that come to Yahoo to find out what's going on around the world. And put your hand up if you watched the royal wedding last year. Yeah, I'm sure you all did. Everyone else is lying. But this became the single biggest event ever on Yahoo, overtaking the Obama inauguration. This generated 400 million page views in 1 day. So you can see that we have huge amounts of scale. Just to give you a bit of an idea of our global reach, we have, last month, our biggest ever audience with 710 million people coming, which is basically half the online population in the world. And you can see across from APAC, where I'm from, to the Middle East, to the US, and also Europe, we have 50 plus reach in pretty much every region. And again, our goal is to grow to hit that billion person number within the next couple of years. To put it in context, I think Google's at about 1 billion users, 980 million, I think, users a month. I think Facebook's about 850 now. Yahoo's third at 710. I think MSN is 600 to 650. I'm sure my MSN colleagues will correct me if I'm wrong on that one. So again, a lot of people come to Yahoo to find out what's going on from all around the world. Now, what I really wanted to focus on today was creativity. If we look back over history, art and the creativity that fueled art was a very powerful medium to celebrate success in battle, sadness, to capture a landscape for eternity. Now, what happened to all those artists that, didn't turn out so successful like Leonardo da Vinci here? Anyone have a guess what they all did if they didn't become famous artists? Most of them found their way to an advertising agency. And those people who didn't quite make it as a famous artist went to these agencies and really did some amazing things. If we look back over history, print has brought us some very, very historic and memorable campaigns like the Marlboro Man. Obviously Coke has done some fantastic things, and VW. Very, very simple campaigns, but there was a very, very strong story to it. And these types of images have been around forever and everyone recognises them. And really has shown that creativity and pushing boundaries and telling a story was a very successful way to push a product. Now, digital came along at a time when print and TV were doing amazing things. And the online world said, we can do fantastic things. You don't need to worry so much about creativity anymore. We have so much information on our users. That's all you need to know. And what I'm here today to tell you that that's not entirely true. If we look back, display advertising started. Now, I think most of you, because this is a very young audience, were probably not born. Well, maybe some of you were born. I was born, but 1993 saw, this is the very much first banner ad that ran on Yahoo. Anyone know what the brand is? Well, I mean, you really have to look, right? But you really can't tell. So online's come around, up against TV and up against print with these huge canvases, and this is sort of what you could do online. Not a huge canvas there. Very, very hard to do something creative in 1993. Now, fast forward a couple of years, this is an HP ad. Again, pretty basic. Not really telling a story. You're not going to get much, or you're not going to get very good results out of this. And this very much dominated the sort of first 3 to 5 years of the online industry. And it's no surprise that TV and print continue to take massive budgets, while online was continuing to struggle. Now, if we fast forward slightly to sort of 99 and 2000, when many of you probably started to come online, the infamous pop-up ad first came around. And still it tends to play online sites today. And I'm doing a campaign to eradicate this particular campaign. At a similar type of time, a company called Google came around. We decided not to buy it. Bad decision. I think it was $5 billion we could have bought it for. Anyway. Now, if we fast forward again, the 300 by 250, which is very much the mainstream ad format that runs across the world today. So, in that space of 10 years, we evolved from a horizontal box to a box. Okay? Really not going to shift money to online. And as a result of that, online is still small compared to TV and print. In some markets like the US and UK, it's at 30% now and it's really booming. But I think the point I'm making today is that around about this stage, we started to realize that we can and should do a lot more. Now, a couple of reasons why we've shifted significantly over the last sort of 5 years is obviously internet speed, broadband penetration has really started to rise. And that's given publishers and advertisers much more power and technology, to give them more technology rather, to do some more creative things. Now, this is actually a real slide that I'm not going to take you through today, but one of the other myths that I think the online world has been pushing for far too long is that technology is the be-all and end-all. Okay? Now, I completely agree that technology is an amazingly powerful thing that the other mediums wish they had. I can put the right ad in front of the right person at the right time. Okay? But if I don't engage them with a message and engage them with the traditional advertising, what you always used to do with advertising, which is tell a story. If I don't put that in front of the person, then the ad campaign is going to be a real failure. So there are some other reasons why I think online has taken a little bit longer to get into the sort of creative framework that I want to talk about a bit later on. Technology, as I mentioned earlier, broadband penetration has taken a lot longer than many people expected to happen. I know in Lithuania, you guys are very lucky that you've had a huge amount of fiber optic cabling, which has given fantastic broadband speed, which was evident in my hotel last night. In many countries, like South Africa where I go to, my God, it's like the dial-up days. And it almost takes me 24 hours to download about 20 emails, which is a right pain. Anyway, nostalgia. Yeah, we get trapped in the history. This is what we always used to do. It's print, it's TV. We'll put a couple of $1,000s online to make our clients happy. People get set in their ways. People who've been in marketing for 20 years, no TV, no print inside out. Something new is always going to take a bit of time to catch on. Tangibility. If I run a print campaign in a magazine, I can put it on my desk, open it up to the page, leave it on my desk for a month, and everyone can see what I've been doing. It's tangible, you've got it. A colleague of mine in Singapore came up with a fantastic way to overcome this, because he came across the same sort of issue with his clients. He used to print out, if someone did a front page, big takeover, he'd print it out, frame it, put a date on it, how many impressions were showed, what the dates were, so that they could actually hang it up, hold on to it. It's tangible proof that I did my job. The G-myth, anyone have a guess what that means? So if no one knows your brand or your product, how are they going to search for it? Okay. We've done a lot of research that shows the biggest driver on search performance versus print, TV, online is online. Now, if you have the pleasure of watching any Google presentations, they start to say the same sort of thing. Okay? No one knows about your product, no one knows about your brand, no one knows about your hotel or your beach resort or your new phone unless they can see it and you've shown them something about it. Then they go into search, into Google or Bing or whatever, to search for your product. Pricing. We've been in sort of a 3 to 4 year recession, depending on what country you've been in, and we've seen dramatic price deflation in the TV world. This has caused online to nosedive as well. In some of the markets that I work in, if you don't have 3 billion impressions a month, you're not going to have enough money to pay for the electricity in your office, because TV's pushed prices so low that online just simply can't make any money. And this is obviously a real shame. And as I said, recession. You're not going to get fired if you do something on TV or print. Okay? If you're pushing boundaries in a recession, your marketing manager or your CEO, in the old sense of the word, might be a little bit pissed. Okay? So this is actually an Australian tourism campaign that ran on Yahoo UK in the dead of winter last year. What actually happens is the man swims back and forth and the fish swim as well. You could never do this 5 years ago. Okay? The other reason why you would never want to do this, even maybe 3 or 4 years ago, was that even if you had, a lot of people had broadband, it wasn't that fast, and so the load time on the page would annoy people, and then they would most often click away and never come back again. But these types of creatives are really, really starting to be popular now. This is a format that Yahoo launched about a year ago, and it's turned out to be the most successful ad format we've ever launched. It's in the mail login, so when you go to Yahoo and you search log into your mail account, you can see there where you log in. But we've actually given the opportunity for advertisers now to use this as a canvas. It's the biggest canvas online. You can embed video in it as well. And what we've actually seen, and this is really, really important, is that it doesn't disturb the user experience. It's not a pop-up ad that blocks them, that they have to click away so they can continue their journey. They can log in straight into their account without an ad blocking them. And this is really, really important. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. Online advertising now is great. You can do some really big things, but a word of warning, make sure you put the user experience number one. The reason why Yahoo's been around 16 years is that our audience teams have been pushing the sales guys back and saying, no, we have to be responsible, we don't want to disturb the user experience. So any type of big format at Yahoo has to be click to generate. It doesn't just pop up and annoy you. I mean, an example like that, you didn't do anything, you just typed in the AOL. This actually really isn't an AOL example. I'm just using another brand, not just Yahoo. But these sort of formats are everywhere across emerging markets and across the US and across Europe as well. Okay. Now, does anyone think this particular format performs well? It performs really, really, really well. Okay. The agency or the advertiser goes, my God, 11% click-through. That's amazing. Does anyone know why there's an 11% click-through? Because everyone's trying to figure out where the bloody X is to get rid of the ad. Okay, and you can see the X on the top right, and generally not, you miss it once. Okay, and you get amazing click-through, and think, oh, that's fantastic, successful campaign. Actually, it's not. It really is. And believe me, this doesn't perform well. It's a mistake. Okay. The other important thing, and online has sort of caused this, okay, that click-through is everything. A successful online campaign, you have to have 1% or 1.5% click-through. That's a successful campaign. Okay? What I want to say is that this is a measurement and it's a tool and it's a way to look at it. This is looking at the click-through rate across across EMEA and some of the major European markets, and you can see that since 2006, the click-through rate has declined. Okay? There's a couple of reasons for this. One, people now are used to seeing ads online. It's not so new anymore. Don't click so much. Okay? Otherwise, a lot of websites have flooded their site with many, many different ad formats. Some sites have up to 5 impressions or 5 ad units on one single page. Okay? Oops. Weekly call with Barcelona. I think I'm missing that one. Now, another really important thing to understand about click-through, we've done some surveys, and some of our other competitors have done surveys, and what we've actually found is, in the US, 95% of the clicks come from 5% of the population. In Europe, 85% of the clicks come from 15% of the population. So if you're building an ad campaign that's just focusing on CTR, you're just going after, you're just targeting 5% of the audience. Okay? And that would obviously be a mistake. Some of the really important things that we need to be focusing on today, and this is what I would encourage anyone doing an online campaign with their publisher, is to ask some sort of questions around, what's the dwell rate? How long do people consume the ad for? What's the interactivity rate? There are many formats today that are designed to have the user click through and consume some content, or look at a video, or look at some pictures, or even comment on Twitter. These are really, really important things, and these are the metrics that actually decide whether a campaign is successful. If they just happen to click on it, that should not be the be-all and end-all. So these are the types of terms that I would encourage you all, when you do an online campaign, is to ask your publisher, what are the rates? Give me some figures on these types of things. Really, really important. Now, creativity, online creativity, is not just ad formats. It's one part of it. There are many, many, many cool things you can do online today. YouTube has been probably at the forefront of video creativity. They do some amazing things, okay? And, again, a fantastic product that we could have bought, but we didn't as well. Never mind. But again, great product, do some fantastic sort of things. But again, video is not just YouTube. There are other sites. You don't just have to see a dog riding a skateboard, okay? There are many, many other things. And what we've seen is that, for example, this is in the UK where we have the rights for the Premier League to watch replays of games, that with broadband penetration, we can actually start to consume media, okay, when it suits us. We may have missed a game on the weekend, but we can now go and watch a game whenever you want. And this has also given a great opportunity for advertisers. And I don't just mean pre-roll or post-roll or during-roll ads, but you can do some really, really interactive things with video as well. One of the areas that I think is going to grow considerably over the next 5 to 10 years is live streaming. There's obviously someone live streaming me right now. Fantastic technology, and again, I think you're very lucky here in Lithuania to have such great broadband penetration and fibre optic cables. A lot of countries still can't do this, but again, live streaming is going to become more and more important. And there's a reason for that. We're all living very busy lives. If you miss a TV show, okay, imagine it'd be great if you could just watch it when you're on the bus with your mobile phone, right? These days are coming very, very quickly. When we hit the 4G networks, then we can start to do some really cool things. So this is not that far away. What we're also seeing too is a lot of brands are really wanting to focus on content creation. Brands like Red Bull, for example, do amazingly cool things. Did anyone see, well actually Red Bull didn't do this, but did anyone see the video last week of a guy that jumped out of a helicopter at 2,000 feet and landed without a parachute? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Now that type of content, Red Bull does this all the time, but so many people watch that video, right? Creating these types of content, brands are doing this more and more and more, create this content to get people to come and consume it, right? And the brand gets fantastic brand interaction, or whatever you want to call it, the great alignment with sort of a lifestyle. And this is an example of something that we did with Mazda. This was basically designed, this car was being released, they were targeting mothers, and they wanted to came to Yahoo and said, how can we engage an audience? So what we went to do, we created content with our editors, designed about how to make a mother's life easier. Again, brain gets fantastic association with a lifestyle, with ideas, bringing a community together, and obviously the brain gets, gets some traffic. What we're also seeing too is a blur between offline and online. Once bitter enemies, online and offline, are actually now complementary to each other. This is an example we did with Walkers, which the whole idea of it was to, ask people to come up with their own flavour of chips. Okay? The chip pack had details about the campaign. People came online and, I wanted a chicken tikka masala chip or a bacon and egg chip, and Walkers basically did a poll, and whoever got the highest percentage, they actually made those chips and distributed them the following month. Really, really cool things. It's about identifying a community offline, bringing them online, and then getting them to engage. Okay, and this is very much what we're seeing as well. Another example of this is something that Coca-Cola has been very much focusing on. Coke Light, which is very much wanting to align themselves with a young audience, a fashion-forward type of audience, have spent huge amounts of money offline promoting this. What they wanted to do, though, was to figure out a way how to bring that audience. They did some huge TV and banner commercials. How do we bring that audience to one place and get them to engage and consume more content? And more importantly, give Coke the ability to actually see, hey, what are these people really wanting to read about? What are they wanting to consume? So that we actually created a site within Yahoo for Coca-Cola where we came up with original content. Okay, and then we fed back to Coke and said, hey, you know what? Most people are really interested in high-end fashion or bespoke or runways or tips how to buy, expensive dresses cheaply. Okay, so what we're really seeing here is Coca-Cola learning what do actually, people who are enticed by our brand, what are they really interested in? And we're able to create content, and then depending on the success, how many people read a particular story, we could angle more of that content towards what the users were interested in. Again, it's about identifying a community and bringing it together, and this is happening more and more. Now, creativity is not just, again, aligned to display advertising. We've seen search, which has very much been dominated by Google in Europe, stay pretty much the same. If you go to Yahoo search, or you go to Bing search, or you go to Google, you type in some words and you get some blue links. That's pretty much what it's been. We launched a product last week called Yahoo Access, and you can all go to that website there and download it TPC now. But it's about taking search to the next level. Okay? I've got a very short video which will show you exactly what it is, and I encourage you all to download it and give it a go.
Introducing Yahoo Access. It combines searching and browsing into one experience. So you can rip through the web. It provides instant answers as you type. And it remembers the last page you found on all of your devices. Yahoo Access. Download now.
So it's available on US iTunes, but you can actually download it to your PC with that website now. And I'll tweet it later so you can have a look at it. But how it actually works on your PC, it sits in the footer of your page, and again, you cursor over it, it pops up, you search, and you actually get visual results, visual images. And again, search has been doing the very same thing for 12 years. Again, the technology on the back end's got much better, but the front end hasn't really changed as well. And we think this is a really cool product. Now, John talked a lot about mobile before, so I'm not going to harp over too much, but obviously I look after a lot of emerging emerging markets in Africa and South Africa, and obviously the new internet users are coming to mobile. John talked to you a little bit about that. But mobile's giving you some fantastic opportunities to do some really cool things. But what we're actually seeing from a content point of view is that mobile consumption is starting to overtake news and magazines. And we expect this to continue very, very soon. Almost 1 in 3 mobile users, smartphone mobile users, now consume their news on their mobile, not like they used to on magazines or whatnot. Okay, and we see this trend continuing, particularly with smartphone penetration really starting to increase. Now, another that John touched on as well is the actual consumption. Okay, what devices are people using at what time of the day? This is actually a survey that we did, and you can see PC rules in the morning. Sorry, and when I say morning, I mean early morning, 1 to 3 a.m. Not sure what they're doing. It's not me, but they're doing something. Then you've got the morning on the way to work. The smartphone's ruling. You get to work, PC's ruling again, dominating. You go home from work, and then the tablet starts to take over. Okay, this is US statistics. Okay, and obviously the tablet penetration is a little bit higher. But this is the sort of trends that we're seeing. People are not one-screen users anymore. Okay. And publishers or anyone online needs to make sure that their products are now available across multiple platforms at any one time. Because at the end of the day, people will consume the content at their leisure. If it happens to be on an iPhone or an Android or a BlackBerry, which is not very good at consuming media, I mean, it's good for emailing, or a tablet, okay? Publishers have to make sure that they can do that. Now, interestingly, creativity is also following, display advertising is also following user behavior. And what you can see in that previous slide was that if you want an effective campaign and you know that your audience is doing different things on different devices at different times of the day, you need to make sure your campaign can reach across multiple products. And this is an example we did with Santander. Now, a really interesting thing to note, we've done some surveys about, if you actually combine TV with PC, with tablet and smartphone, you can get some amazing results. We've done the first campaigns we've done where we've actually put a campaign across multiple devices. We've seen a 54% increase in brand awareness and 46% increase in brand favorability and 8 times 8 time increase on purchase intent. Okay, it's not really rocket science. Right? It's not. If people are consuming media across different devices, then it makes sense to make sure your campaign reaches that user all day. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now, I've got some top 10 mobile and tablet trends for 2012, which you can all have a read. But the 3 that I want to actually point out, because they really resonate with me, is that the typical tablet user of the future will be in their 50s. Now, my mother is turning 60 next year, and my dad's got his 70th birthday this year. Now, I went back at Christmas time. I hadn't seen them for a couple of years. And the first thing I noticed was that they're obsessed with carrying their iPad around with them. Okay? To the point where they use it more than I do. My dad doesn't order his newspapers anymore or his Economist subscription. He does it all now on his iPad. He used to actually be a really bad emailer because, he'd go to his PC, turn it on, 25 minutes later he would load and he could do his emails. Now he can do an email within a minute, okay, and send it within a minute. My mother is obsessed with Sudoku and she uses it all day. It's true, I believe it. How do I say this without offending lots of people? Geeks tend to be guys, and guys are generally the first guys to move to a new technology. And tablets have been very much dominated by men. But again, this is going to change in 2012. You're going to see that the balance between male and female consumption of tablets is going to balance out to more 50-50 as opposed to 75-25%. And really cool, and this is why the Apple stock price has just gone through the roof, is that the tablets are not really coming at the expense of PC or smartphone purchases. Has anyone here got a smartphone, a tablet, and a Mac Air or a laptop or a PC? Okay, just a few people. Okay, but what we've actually seen is that the PC and the smartphone haven't suffered yet with tablet growth. Okay. And this is really a phenomenon. Apple's actually created a brand new category. The money's got to be coming from somewhere, okay, but right now, it's not coming from smartphones and it's not coming from PCs, which is really, really interesting. So, everyone heard of the term second screen phenomena? Okay, it's not that. It's not you don't have to talk to your wife in bed anymore. It's not a new babysitter, cheap babysitter that you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay once and entertains your kids for ages. Occupied. Yeah. The second screen phenomena is the fact that people are consuming content across multiple devices at the same time. I mean, John mentioned that a lot of people were watching him and doing their Twitter or emailing, myself included, okay? But what we're actually seeing is almost 70% of mobile users are at least consuming media with another screen at the same time, okay? And this has actually given a fantastic opportunity to, again, bring offline and online together again, okay? As I said, TV and internet or online have been battling for ad dollars for ages, okay? But the second screen phenomena now is going to give us the great ability to actually start to connect the dots between offline and online, and I'll show you why. Yahoo launched a product in the US last year, which is coming to Europe at the end of this year, called Into Now. Everyone's heard of Shazam. I'm sure everyone's got Shazam on their phone. But basically, Into Now is Shazam for TV. Okay? Now, I've got a video which will show you exactly how it works. But it basically gives the ability for a tablet or a smartphone to actually listen to what you're watching on TV and allow you to consume additional content. Right? That's also heightening and benefiting the TV program that you're also watching at the same time. So let me show you a quick video about how this works.
What are you watching right now? I bet Into Now knows. Just tap the green button.
Good morning, everyone. We are learning
Into Now is an app that identifies what you're watching, right down to the episode. You can learn all about what you're watching as you watch it. Catching the game? Into Now brings stats right to your iPad, so you won't miss a play. Sound good? Then download the free app, turn on your TV, and see what everyone's into now.
It's a fantastic product, and as I said, I watch a lot of US TV, and I happen to have a US iTunes account, so I use it right now. It's fantastic. It's really good for live sporting events where you can actually watch replays or statistics of a game you're actually watching, which is pretty cool. So, to finish up, I want to say thank you very much, but I think what I would say is that we're all very, very fortunate, and you guys probably more than me, that you're actually be born into an era where where technology is actually, some people may say, disrupting our lives, but I think it's actually adding to it. If I think about when I finished high school in 1996, the industry that I work in was pretty much non-existent, okay? But what I can say is the technology is now starting to do some amazingly powerful things, not only for advertisers, but also for consumers. But what I would say from an advertising point of view is give online a go. It's much cheaper than TV and print to experiment with, and you'll see some fantastic results. And if you can take just one thing out of today, remember that online is not just about technology. You also have to put the same amount of effort into creativity to your campaign that you do offline to online. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation, and we have one question from our online viewers. Maybe you remember the first digital ad that had blown your mind, and you started to believe in digital advertising that much as you do now.
That's a very good question. So I started working in the online advertising world in sort of mid-2008, so I'm a little bit late to the game. But what I think actually is probably the coolest thing is when you actually bring technology, and we have a product, a behavioral targeting product, that I can actually see, if you're a car brand and you want to do something, we actually created the mail login for Chevrolet, big format. And what we actually saw was the one day that we ran the mail login ad, we saw a 50% increase in people searching for that brand. Okay? And the important thing about that particular page was there's no search box there. Right? So people saw the ad, went into their mail, sent a mail, whatever, checked their email, then went out and actually searched for the brand. And that sort of showed to me was that if you put a lot of effort into creativity and use the canvas that online now can provide, you can see amazingly quick results, which is what advertisers all want to do. So that was probably a good example for me.
Thank you. Are there any questions in the audience?
No?
Seems like no.
No, but feel free to tweet me a question. I'm addicted to Twitter right now, so tweet me, and I'm more than happy to speak to anyone who wants to talk to me after. So thank you very much, guys.